What's up, guys? Josh Osborne here to do UFC 107 predictions. Not going to get into excuses. I know you guys don't want to hear it. If you read our profile, you guys have been giving us quite the tongue lashing for not having more videos. And if you want to put any blame anywhere, definitely put it on my shoulders. The last month, I've driven to Minnesota, New Jersey, Los Angeles, and Houston, Texas, driving. So needless to say, I've been out of town a lot, and it just hasn't been the time. Especially when I do get back into town, trying to match up with Matt and Jared's work schedules and family life is tough already. So, guys, we're still together. We're not giving this up or anything like that. I just ask for a little bit more patience, and I promise more videos will start to come out. Just give us a little bit of time, and we'll get it rolling again. So let's get right down to it. This is what you guys want to talk about, and that is UFC 107. I'm going to do something a little bit different on this video. You guys have commented or complained or whatever you want to call it that we don't cover all the fights for a UFC event. And the main reason we can't is because YouTube videos only allow us to do about 10 to 11 minutes. And when there's 3 guys talking about, 10 fights, we'd be able to say maybe 1 or 2 little mini comments and just rush right through it. We usually don't like to do that. We want to talk in depth about some of the main fights. So for this video, since it's just me and I think I have enough time to do it, I'm going to go ahead and cover every single fight on this card. Starting with the first one, Kevin Burns and TJ Grant. I'm going to take Burns via TKO on this one. Both these guys are very well rounded. It could definitely go either way. Call it a hunch, but I'm taking Burns via TKO. DaMarques Johnson, Edgar Garcia. I'm going to go with Johnson submission on this. I think he's actually a lot better of a fighter than he showed on that Ultimate Fighter finale where he lost to a Brit. Yeah, I think there was just a little bit of the rookie jitters for being in the octagon for the first time. That's a lot of pressure for your UFC debut to be able to, try to win the entire show. And he had some James Wilkes and a few submissions, but Wilkes just wanted it more, I think, and didn't seem to be bothered by the limelight, and he finished him. But I think this one is going to be a little bit different for Johnson. I'm taking him submission, so looking for him to bounce back. Next one, Rousimar Palhares versus Lucio Linhares. Wow, man, it's hard to go against Palhares, and the guy is just a submission machine, and he's got an iron chin, so I don't see him getting finished in this one very easily, so I'm going to take Rousimar submission. Johny Hendricks versus Ricardo Funch. Now, I actually know Ricardo Funch. I've trained with him a little bit here in town, and the guy is definitely... I'm just kidding. I have no idea who the guy is. You guys totally fell for that. I know some of you did. Yeah, I don't know much about the guy at all. Johny Hendricks looked pretty impressive in his UFC debut. He was able to finish Amir Sadallah pretty quickly. This isn't an educated guess or anything like that. It is a guess for sure, but I'm going to go Johny Hendricks just because he looked really good in his last fight. This is Funch's UFC debut. He might get some of those jitters that we were talking about earlier. So again, Hendricks going to win decision. Matt Wiman, Shane Nelson. I am taking handsome Matt Wiman, TKO. I think Wyman's got much better stand-up than Nelson. Nelson's main deal is jiu-jitsu, but Wiman is definitely no stranger to the ground. He could definitely hold his own down there. So don't see this one being too much of a factor on the ground for him. I think he'll be able to finish it on his feet. I'm going Wiman, TKO, second round. Alan Belcher, Wilson Gouveia. A guy wrote a couple days ago, and I guess he knows Belcher pretty well. I don't know if he trains with him or whatever, and he said that he was very insulted that they gave Belcher Wilson Gouveia for his next fight, and I didn't think it was an insult at all. I think Gouveia is pretty solid. Both these guys are good fighters, but they're not really top 10 guys, so it's a pretty even matchup, I think. For me personally, Gouveia's gas tank is what it comes down to. I think Gouveia looks pretty good in the first part of second round, but then as the fight goes along, he really gasses quickly. Belcher seems to have good cardio, and I'm going to go ahead and go Belcher decision. Don't think he's going to finish Gouveia. Gouveia's a pretty hardy guy, but I think he'll be able to impress the judges, probably outpoint him, so Belcher decision. John Fitch, Mike Pierce. Pierce has got really good takedowns and ground and pound. That's like his whole deal. But man, Fitch is just a beast, man. The guy is an amazing wrestler. GSP is really the only guy that was able to throw him around, and again, he couldn't even finish him. So I don't know. I don't see Mike Pierce being able to finish John Fitch. So I'm going to go John Fitch decision, just because I think he's going to work his way back up for another title shot. So John Fitch decision. All right, let's talk about the fights that we really want to hear about. We got Clay Guida taking on Kenny Florian. Now, you've seen these guys fight plenty. It's not a whole lot I need to really go into detail about, what they've accomplished in their career so far. I'm going to shock a lot of you guys, and I'm going to say that Clay Guida has a big edge in this fight. Kenny's not horrible off his back, but Clay Guida, man, everybody he's fought, whether he's won or lost, he's been able to take him down relatively easy and control him for the most part. I mean, that Diego fight was amazing, but what looked like was going to be just a runaway win for Diego ended up being a nail biter and coming down to split decision. So Diego's pretty tough. Florian's pretty tough. I personally think that if Kenny wants to win this one, he's going to have to do more than just stuff the takedowns. I think he's going to have to go for some takedowns of his own, hopefully get in a really good dominant top position, maybe run down those famous sharp elbows that he has. Or who knows, we might see kind of a repeat of when he fought Joe Daddy Stevenson. They kind of fell down. I don't know if it was a takedown or whatever, but Kenny ended up on Joe Daddy's back and was able to choke him out that way. Now, Clay Guida has been finished plenty of times via submission, so that's definitely a weakness for him. But man, the guy, he goes and goes like no other fighter I've seen in UFC. So this is really tough for me. I'd like to see Kenny get the win, but I actually think Guida is going to do his usual, take him down, stay in top position, and just rain down a lot of punishment. And I think he's going to take this one via split decision. All right, we got co-main event. Frank Mir taking on Cheick Kongo. Let's talk game plans here, even though they're probably pretty obvious at this point. Kongo, stand-up guy all the way, definitely some power in his hands. Horrible ground game. He's got to avoid the ground with Frank Mir. Frank Mir is just a beast when it comes to jiu-jitsu. Plus, at the weigh-ins, I think Mir's got like 20, 25 pounds on him. So if he does get him down to the ground, he's definitely going to be able to use that extra weight to kind of control him. Mir surprised me before, though. I mean, you think he's going to take it to the ground, but he's been talking a lot of trash, and I know he really wants to make a statement because he wants a rematch with Lesnar so bad, a rubber match. So who knows? This guy might just try to stand up with Kongo and get really cocky and get freaking knocked out. It could definitely happen. I'm not going to count Cheick Kongo out. The guy has fought a lot, and he's never been finished before, never even submitted. Of course, he hasn't fought anybody like Frank Mir. He pulls out crazy submissions like, Peruvian neckties and inverted key locks and stuff like that. So Kongo might have an issue going against Frank Mir. I'd like to say Frank Mir submission, and that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say Frank Mir submission. I think he's going to give Kongo his first submission loss of his career. So you heard it right here. Alright guys, it is the main event of the evening. BJ Penn taking on Diego Nightmare Sanchez. I could blabber on about this, forever, talking about these guys, but you know the deal. You've seen them fight before. To me, this fight comes down to BJ Penn. I think in every area of the game, he is better than Diego Sanchez. I do like Diego. I'm not trying to, crap on him or anything like that, but BJ's got way better striking, and he's got a million times better ground game than Diego. Diego's whole thing, man, is going to be the cardio edge. He mentioned in a video interview that he wants to push BJ to the 3rd and 4th round, and I think that's smart on his part. If you are going to have a chance of finishing BJ, it's got to be in the later rounds. I mean, Diego is a good guy, but his heart and his attitude, I think, is what's got him this far. In fact, I was watching the UFC 107 countdown the other day on Spike, and BJ actually made a really good point. He said, Diego is an overachiever, and he's actually gotten farther than he should have just because of his heart and his will to win. And I actually agree with that. I think that's a really good point. Diego is a good fighter, but if you look at a lot of his last few fights, he's won those fights, but he hasn't, dominated like you would expect someone who's, the #1 contender at lightweight. I mean, he fought Clay Guida, barely won that fight. The first round was definitely his. Second and third, man, that definitely could have gone to Clay. He was, on the ground. Clay was on top of him, beating him up. Could have gone either way. Who else did he fight? He fought Joe Daddy Stevenson. That one was, kind of back and forth. Diego was definitely winning the fight, but he didn't finish Joe Daddy in a way I think he should have to just make a huge statement. So now he's going up against BJ Penn, and, BJ is just the better fighter. I mean, I think the only chance that Diego really has in this one is just to hope that BJ makes a mistake Or, again, in the later rounds, somehow gasses out and he's able to, you know, I don't know, throw a flying knee or just do something crazy that he's known for and win the fight. But, again, I like Diego. I wouldn't be, you know, against him winning. I actually think that'd be kind of cool. But coming down to just stats and just, you know, the reality here is BJ Penn is the better fighter. So, BJ's been finishing a lot of his fights in later rounds with a submission, but I think this one is going to go to the 4th round. But I got BJ winning it TKO. We deserve it. I apologize again, but we'll try to make it up to you here in the near future. When Christmas is over with, we'll get the gang back together again and pop out some more videos. So again, thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you on the next UFC prediction video.